got back from a couple stores. Give me a second. Yeah, Home Depot and Harbor Freight. I'm going to show you everything I got. Do Harbor Freight first. Belts. That's probably the number one thing that knife makers go through. We got two sets of the 80 grit. I should have got 120. I didn't see the 80 grit. I didn't read. They just look like the 120 belts. So that's unfortunate, but it'll work. And we got some 40 grits. These are what I use to rough shape my metal. These are what I use for finishing my metal, and usually the handles just a little bit. I also got buffing wheels. I wanted these. The only loose wheel I have up there has compound on it. I can't really get it out. Haven't tried, but I don't want to. So I wanted one that doesn't have any compound, so I can use with my handles after I'm done. Also got a stitched one that is so I can do the spines and the inside of the handles and also the bevels of my knives. I just wanted a stiffer one. So for that. Last thing I got from here was one of these things. If you haven't seen these before, it's super cool. You kind of put it on your desk or wherever you're working, and it's used for clamping down things. And I've seen a lot of knife makers. I've seen Jeremy from Simple Little Life use it. I've seen Kyle Noseworthy use it. He makes knives as well. I like his channel. But I've seen a couple other knife makers use these, and I think it's a really neat idea. So I'm gonna kind of steal that. So I'll probably set it up on a piece of wood that I could have in my vise instead of on my bench, because I like sitting down when I'm standing. But yeah, I'll do that. There's that. Also, Home Depot. This is the big one. Give me a second. Sandpaper. And the abrasives, really, I think, are the number one thing that knife makers go through. Because you're just constantly using them. Same thing, that includes belts and sandpaper, wire wheels, cut-off wheels, grinding wheels, all that. We go through them like crazy. I have two of them, two sets, 50 grit and 120 for my 3x21. That's what I use to shape my handles. So I got those. And then I also got sandpaper, lots of it. So I was running out, so I have 120, 220, 320, 400, and 60. So, oh yeah, and then also 800 because kind of running out, so I'm gonna have to put that in there. But let's move on. Pencils. Can never get enough pencils. I'm always running out of pencils. People just come and take them and then they don't put them back. So they're only 19 cents a piece, so why not? Linseed oil, amazing stuff. You gotta use it on your wood. It's not stabilized. And acetone. I was running out of these two things, so I'm actually out of these two things. I think I have a little bit of acetone left, but that's pretty much gone. Acetone I use for degreasing, and that's pretty much it before glue ups. And then also boiled linseed oil I use for somewhat stabilizing my wood. It's not as stable as, say, wood I put in a vacuum chamber with cactus juice and all that, but I'm working on it. Give me a couple weeks. Some digital calipers. You gotta have these. I haven't had any. I actually had one pair in the past, but somebody, my little brother, actually left it outside. It got all rusty and the battery stopped working, so I figured I'd just pick up a new one. This is $30. Hopefully it lasts a long time. We'll see. That'd be good. Got some of these clamps, C clamps, because I don't know if you can see on the table. I'll bring it out. This jig is for tempering. You can see kind of the golden color. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. I made this jig out of some angle. I think it's 3 inches by 2.5. For when I temper, I could clamp my blade in there, throw it in the oven, and then it should come out straight. However, I don't really like it because I put these bolts in there. It actually took me a long time to drill these out. And what happens is it's so long that when I put the blade in there, it ends up curving around the blade like this. And so I got these two so I could just I can clamp them in the area that the blade is on the inside and keep it as straight as I possibly can. There's that. Last bag. Got some wood. These are for future knife projects. I get them 1.5 by 1 inch long pieces. Actually, maybe that's 2. No, I was right. 1.5. And these are perfect for knife making. This is oak. This is some walnut. It's really cheap actually from Home Depot. You gotta get it. This is less than $2. I think it's like 130 something. This is less than 4. I think it's 3 something. But they make really good scales if you do it right. And yeah, so that's perfect. Those are for future projects coming up in the future. I just said that. Last but definitely not least, clamps. You can never have enough clamps. I already have some. I think I have 15 up there right now. I should have 20. I get them. I just get 10 every time I go to the store. Just, like I said, you can never have enough. It takes like 4 to clamp the liners to the scales, and it takes like 8 to clamp the scales to the knife. And so you can really have enough, not have enough, and because I hope to go into production soon, I need a lot of these. So that's that. So I'm gonna put these away right now, and in the process I'll probably show you around the shop, or maybe afterwards. So we'll see. Alright, I got that all squared away. I'm going to show you around the shop. So behind me, I know this is a very small shop, but I try to make the best use of space as I possibly can. Now here is all of the power tools on this pegboard. It goes down to the floor, up to almost the ceiling. It's as high as the rafters are. Then I have all the hand tools, so things like pliers and I don't know, what. I'm not very good at this. Scrapers, all this stuff. But I have it, and then closer to the desk I have things that I use more often, like tape, and I'll have my calipers here. I'll have all my pencils and my dustpan, the thing I use to light my torches. There we go. I'm gonna need to change that flint out pretty soon. But then that's right by the work table. The work table is probably the most important thing in this shop, because if you don't have a surface, you really can't do anything. But yeah, I built this myself. This thing is not going anywhere. This thing's probably, I don't know, a couple 100 pounds. It's just made out of pure wood and bolts, and yeah, it's not going anywhere. But on top of it, I have things like my sandpaper. I have knife making supplies. This thing is it's just everything I use. A ton of liners. I have pieces of wood in here. I have I don't know. I just have a ton of things in here that I need to find a place for. I do plan on making this, turning this more into like a knife making shop, and so I need places to put things. But anyways, I'll leave that for now. Down here, and I hadn't said this yet, but this is a shared space, so a lot of this stuff, like I have storage up here. It's my family's, not just mine. But yeah, down here, way down here, I have all my liquids, so things like my boiled linseed oil, my acetone, my thinned out boiled linseed oil, WD-40. I even have alcohol down there as well. I keep that all on that shelf right there. So yeah, that's where that is. Clamp area. This is where I keep all my clamps. I have 25 clamps right now. I'm gonna need a lot more though. And I have those are just the spring clamps. Those are my favorite types of clamps. But saws. I never use saws, they're just there. Those were my grandpa's old saws. So that's why they're there. Let's move this thing. I have one light in the whole shop. It's pretty useful some of the time, but I'd like more light for sure. But right here I have my drill press and bandsaw. These are just the cheap Home Depot Ryobi set, but it works. It really does. It works for what I use. I would like a more powerful drill press. This kind of has a little trouble going through the thicker steel, but you know, sometimes it stops or it stalls. I have messed around with the belt settings, so I know that's not the problem. I tried it on different speeds and whatnot, but it works for now. I'm not complaining. Right here I have my bandsaw. It's like I said, it's just the cheap Home Depot one, Ryobi. It's not the best in the world, but same thing with the drill press. It works for what I do. As long as I keep the blade nice and sharp, you change it out often, and I keep my dust extractor. Look at this. It's just a shop vac that I keep under here, and I'm able to move it around and vacuum off the table and all that. But yeah, as long as I keep the dust out of there and I vacuum it up regularly, I'm good to go. One thought. Oh, it's kind of blurry right there. One thought on the dust extractor system, my super high-tech dust extractor system. I've been making knives in the shop for the better part of 5 years, and I never realized how much dust I was producing until I started using this shop vac. I just set it up behind every machine. Almost every machine has one of these things. It's just a port where you could plug it in and it sucks up the dust. I know right here the sander has one. Drill press doesn't because you don't really need it. But yeah, I know rip saws have it, chop saws have it usually. But I never realized how much dust I was using until I was producing until I started using that, and it's helped quite a bit. Along with that, my PPE is one of the most important things in the shop, because I'm not trying to die from lung cancer or whatever, so I'm always wearing my respirator. You see it in my videos, and sometimes I forget, but I try my hardest to keep that on. This isn't super important, but it is important to protect the clothes. I just have a leather apron. Ear protection. I've used my 3x21 sometimes without ear protection, and I'm using it really close. To shape my handles, I have to be right on there. And there's been times where my ears were ringing for hours, and it's just not cool. It could definitely hurt you. So I started using that, as well as goggles. I've gotten a lot of pieces of wood and metal in my eye doing knife making, so I always got to protect myself from that. As well as a headlamp. Sometimes I use a headlamp, sometimes I don't. It's bright outside, but yeah, it's good to be able to see. Anyways, let's move on. This is the belt grinder and buffer station. Now, my belt grinder, this is just a 1x30. Everybody has one almost. It's just a cheap Harbor Freight. I just went there today. It was like $54. I've made upwards of 20, probably 30 knives on this thing, and it's still going. I've had to do a couple things to it. I've had to tweak it a little bit. I changed the table. I ground off the back of it and opened this up a little bit. I've had to put rubber on the wheels, or electrical tape actually, on the wheels, because what happened was it wore down too much, so it wouldn't track properly. Speaking of tracking, not gonna lie, it sucks pretty bad at tracking, but it's what I have right now, so I'm using it to the best of my abilities, and I'm probably gonna be using this until it goes out, really. But obviously, it's every knife maker's dream to have a 2x72, and I'll have one of those one day. But right now, I'm using this, and then also that's what I use to profile my blades and put the grinds on it. It's useful, it really is. But and then along with that, I have this, which is just a 3x21 Chicago Electric hand sander. This is from Harbor Freight as well. But I use this to profile my blades. It has a bigger, I forget what this is called. I don't remember what it's called. It has a bigger one of these things. And so I have a bigger radius to shape my blades on, as well as a slightly bigger belt. In terms of width, it's not obviously as long as the 30 inch belt, but it's close. And it works for what I do. It gets really hot, it overheats a lot, but it's what I have. And then also my buffer. I actually got this from my great grandpa in California. And this thing, you know, it works. This has got to be at least like 50 years old, but it's still going. It's still going. I've had to get new nuts for it because they had stripped out a while ago. But yeah, this thing's just a powerhouse. For real, it really is. But I got all this stuff bolted onto this little table that I have on the wall, and this stuff is pretty sturdy. It's not going anywhere. Underneath this, I have another high-tech dust extraction system, which is just a bucket of water on a step stool. And this, I move it to and from these belt grinders to try to catch as much dust as I can, metal and wood dust. But yeah, there's that. Let's move on to the wood section. Wood. Forget the guy's name. I'm gonna have to look him up now. But here's this. Like I said, this is a shared space, so I have like all the hardware here, nails and screws and bolts and all that stuff. Here's some wood that I have. I have a couple big pieces of wood. This is a 1-inch piece of black walnut, and then I have a 2-inch piece of English walnut back there. I have some small strips of oak, and then a bucket of just random pieces that I'll probably get to eventually. But I think that might be it. Oh no, that's not it. Definitely not it. There you go. My very non-sturdy vise. It's on. I have it on the stump right now. I really like it because it's mobile. I can move it around to pretty much wherever I want. I don't like how it's not sturdy. I'm definitely gonna have to make a better stand for that sometime in the future. Not right now. Maybe I'll even just attach it to the table. Maybe make a lower section down here, kind of like I did with this, but on the end instead of on the inside. Maybe possibilities are endless. So I think that might be it. I think that's it. I have my torch, but you've seen that in videos. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Thank you for watching my video. Stay tuned, because I plan on doing this until I die. Hopefully not soon. But I don't know. Yeah. See you later. That wasn't it. I did miss something. A couple things, actually. I was just watching through the video and I noticed a couple things I missed. So let's go get back over here. This is my abrasives wall. So, oh, what am I doing? So like I said, this is a pretty small shop, so I try to keep things as organized as possible, as I can. And it's always evolving, it's always changing and shifting to what fits me best. But this is what I found works with me with the abrasives wall. I kind of it has a system, like I have the new belts, then that same grit used, then I have, you know, new belts and then that same grit used. So I have 50, 80, and 120 grit of the 3x21, and then I usually only get 40 grit and then 120 grit, because that works for me. But like you saw earlier, I had actually got 80 grit instead of 120, so I'm just gonna have to work with that now. So I have 40 grit brand new, and then used 40 grit, 80 grit, and then used 120 from my old belt. But remember my old belts. So I'm gonna have to get some 120 pretty soon, and hopefully I'll probably have to try to make another section for just that. But or not, because I don't think I'll be keeping the 80 grits after I go through these. Up here I have all my grinding, all my angle grinder attachments. So I have my angle grinder. This is just a Chicago Electric Harbor Freight one. I have all my cutting discs. I have a lot of them, and all my grinding discs. I don't have nearly as many, but I don't use them as much, so that's okay. All my flat discs. I don't really use these as much either, but yeah, that's okay. I have them, so might as well put them up there. I have all of my orbital sander pads, whatever you call those. But that's over on the. Oh my God, it's over on the power tool wall. And then I have all my buffing wheels right here. Obviously, you can see that. And then my magnet. This is what I used to put my knife blank on when I'm grinding the flats on the 3x21, or I also put my knife blank on there to do the bevels in on the 1x30. And then I have just up here, you can see I have a couple of these things just to take the bolts off of the buffer when I'm changing the wheels. Also, one more thing on this wall is this, which is just a little bin of all my different compounds, and also beeswax. Sometimes I burnish my leather over here, so yeah, there's that. Also, one more thing, I didn't finish my thought about the super high-tech dust extraction system. But what I've started doing was with this, it doesn't matter what I do, whether that's drilling, cutting, sanding, even just lapping the scales over on my block. I'm always sucking up the dust because like I said, this is a small area, and if I don't stay on top of it, it's gonna be really dusty in here, and there's gonna be dust covering the whole place. So I always pretty much have that running. It's near me, so I can just grab it and suck up whatever dust I'm creating real quick, and then yeah. So that's that, and that's the end of my thought, and this is the end of the video. So see you next video. I won't see you, you'll see me, but yeah, goodbye.